Good afternoon, everyone. We want to thank you for joining us in person and those viewing us online. For today's announcement, we are joined by Bob Jenkins, owner, Front Row Motorsports, Noah Gragson, NASCAR Cup Series driver, and Jerry Freese, General Manager, Front Row Motorsports. For today's announcement of Front Row Motorsports' next, I'm going to turn it over to Bob Jenkins.
First of all, thank you to all the fans that are tuning in today, and I just want to thank folks in the media for being here today and for all the hard work you do. We're pretty excited to announce that Noah Gragson will be joining us for Front Row Motorsports for next year, 2025 and beyond. We're just super excited. Noah's a guy that's he's been successful in every level of racing he's ever been in, and we've just watched him grow over the last couple of years in the Cup Series, and we really just believe he's just starting to scratch the potential of what he can do. This wouldn't be possible without the support of Ford and Ford Performance and just the partnership that they've given us. And without being a Tier 1 Ford team, we could never, ever think about signing a driver like Noah. And just so excited to see what we can do together with Ford Performance and with Noah. The other thing I would say about Noah that really impressed me when we sat down and when we met and talked is how much respect he has for this sport, and he really understands it's a fan-driven sport, and he just relates so well with fans. He's only been in this series a couple years, but he's already become one of the most popular drivers, and we really think that translates, with our marketing partners to what we can do and achieve. And so we're just super excited about what the future holds for Noah, and just so glad that he's going to be with us for several years.
Thanks, Bob. Noah comes to Front Row Motorsports next season to begin his third year in the NASCAR Cup Series. He has 2 top 5, 7 top 10 finishes, and has been consistently running up front this season. So, Noah, welcome to the team. And we want to know, why did you want to join Front Row Motorsports?
Thank you. And first off, thank you to all you guys being here and for everyone tuning in. But it's definitely exciting times. When we started out this year, I didn't know how I was going to run. I didn't know if I had the potential to run in the Cup Series just based off how the 2023 season went. And to be able to get my feet underneath me with the opportunity at Stewart-Haas, it definitely opened people's eyes. And with Stewart-Haas, we were looking for a home for a long time. And that's when I got introduced to Bob and Jerry, and being able to sit down with them and talk and see what their goals were, what their vision was. And the thing that stuck out in my mind most importantly is what Jerry said when we met was, Bob's goal is to grow each and every year. And through the experience and, fun to challenge myself, and there's challenges and adversity along the way. But during that building process, I really enjoy that time to step up as a leader and help grow the organization. So with Bob's vision of wanting to become better and better each and every year, it seemed like the right place. He's obviously very financially invested in the team. There's a lot of great partners over there, and they want to grow. They want to build, and his investment into a third charter, he wants to expand this thing. And so, Bob, I appreciate it, and I'm excited to get to work next year.
Well, Noah, in the past we've seen you jump manufacturers, but this opportunity gives you the runway to stay with Ford Performance. How advantageous is that going to be as a driver?
Well, Ford and Ford Performance, they've been a family, from the top down. And Pat, Jeannie, Mark, everybody that's involved on the Ford Performance side, it's been a lot of fun developing the relationship with them throughout this year. We're only halfway through the year, and they feel like family to me. So we've had a lot of fun times together. The other drivers in the Ford group, the Ford camp, they've been really fun to work with, especially on the super speedways. We've run pretty good there too. So the Ford horsepower under the hood, Robert Yates engines, they've been great. So a lot of fun, working with the Ford camp, and I can't wait to continue to grow the relationship there.
We heard Bob say what he thought you added to the team, but personally, what do you feel like you bring to Front Row Motorsports?
Question for my peers to answer, but for me, I feel like people are the most important thing, and being able to bring a group of people together and change the atmosphere of a building is important to me. And if you can get everybody pulling the same rope and working hard together and make it an atmosphere that people want to come to work, that's what, when you get to week 20 or week 30 of this cup grind, that's when times are tough. It's easy to fire off with a lot of excitement throughout the year, but if not everybody's working together on week 20, this deal's a grind, and it's challenging, and you got to create that excitement and bring energy to the shop. So I feel like I could probably bring quite a bit of energy to the atmosphere of front row, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, you mentioned how invested Bob is in the sport, and we've seen that investment paying off in results on the racetrack the last few years. How much has the uptick in performance over at Front Row Motorsports played into wanting to be a part of the Front Row family?
Yeah, it's definitely been eye-opening. I mean, they've run good. Michael and Todd obviously run good. Lane's been running good in the Truck Series. So coming in, I've been teammates with Todd in the past, and being able to work with and he's learned a lot of stuff throughout, removed from the Kyle Busch Motorsport days. I don't know who the third driver will be, but I'm sure we can all work together and come together and have success on the racetrack. Like I said earlier, Bob's vision is to keep on growing and become better each and every year. That this deal has been going since their start. So with that being said, Michael and Todd's performance on the racetrack has definitely been eye-opening. It doesn't go unnoticed by not only myself, but I think everybody in the garage. The Front Row Motorsports guys, they have speed throughout the weekends, each and every weekend. So they also have an alliance with Penske, and so having that, being able to rely on the teammates over there with all their drivers, I think it's all thumbs up for me.
What opportunities does it present to work with Todd again after already having a relationship with him?
Yeah, Todd and I have been racing each other for the past probably 10 years, dating back into the K&N West Series racing. He was in the 16 car for Bill McNally. We were racing for Jefferson Pitts Racing, and we had some fierce battles on the racetrack, became teammates at Kyle Busch Motorsports. And it's going to be nice to be able to rekindle that relationship on the racetrack as teammates now. It's been a few years in between, but I think from all our learnings from the past organizations that we both have been at, we can definitely work together and help push each other to become better.
Congratulations, Noah. Welcome to the team. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Jerry Freeze, General Manager of Front Row Motorsports, to tell us more about next season and specifically Noah's program.
Yeah, so there's first off, just really appreciate everybody coming out and making the effort to hear this announcement today. It's really exciting for us at Front Row, and everybody that's tuned in on YouTube. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a big day for Front Row, and Noah joined the team. He brings a lot of enthusiasm, not just with his driving talent, but I think just from what I understand of how he's worked with the groups that he's with, whether it's road crew guys, pit crew guys, marketing people, whatever. So we're really excited to kind of kick it off today and get started with Noah joining our team and really adding an exciting element to our group. So, we've got some holes to fill still with Noah's team. We're pretty close on who Chief is and some of the main parts of it. There's still another driver to be determined at Front Row, but we're zoning in on that, and so we're leaving it a little loose who's in what car number quite yet. So and it's just trying to make all the pieces of the puzzle fit just right. But I think we've got a pretty good idea where it's all going, and we should be able to announce it all real soon. But again, just touching on Noah, we're just excited to have him. And having the partnerships that we can bring to the table. There's some partners that will be coming along that we'll announce at a later date, and then and also new relationships to be forged over the year. So excited to have him here. He'll be with Front Row on a multi-year deal, and again, touching on the relationship with Ford, we'll continue that. We're a Ford team for the foreseeable future, and in this alliance with Team Penske, and it's got us in a Tier 1 platform that it's the first time Front Row's been in that place in our 14 years with Ford. So, it's starting to show up on the racetrack with more consistent speed in our race cars. Talking to the leadership at Team Penske about Noah joining our team, they're just excited about it as we are, and what he can bring to the group every Sunday at the racetrack. So really looking forward to 2025. Still work to do in 24, and youth that we have with Todd Gilliland really coming into his own this year, with Noah kind of a similar place in his career. Lane Riggs driving our truck is the future for Front Row, and I think we're going to have another exciting piece of the puzzle here in the next few weeks.
Jerry, what did the timeline look like to get Noah onto the team?
I don't know. I remember talking to his people in early May, I think, kind of when kind of some of the buzz was going around about Stuart Haas, and I think at the time, he had a multi-year commitment with Stuart Haas. It was still have any real serious dialogue at that point, but we definitely conveyed that we were very, very interested if he were to be able to get freed up. And then so once Stuart Haas made their formal announcement, we were certainly really aggressive because he was our number one player on the board, so to speak.
We know there are additional announcements to come about what the team is going to look like in 2025, but what kind of role is Noah playing in determining additional personnel that will be a part of the race team?
Well, as far as like crew chiefs, spotters, things of that nature, a hugely significant role. Those are relationships that are kind of like marriages, and you can't just force two people together. You got to make sure they want to work together. So, I think that's something that we're on the same page with. We've just got to put it all together, and I think we're pretty close on that.
We know the benefits of expanding a team. What have the challenges been, knowing that you guys are going to be running 3 cars next year?
Yeah, it's I think the biggest challenge you have is communication, and we've tried 3 cars at Front Row in the past. I've been a part of 3-car teams in prior times, and the biggest challenge I see that that's right from the start is it's you always seem to get 2 teams that line up pretty good together, and there's a third team that's kind of the redheaded stepchild in the group, and it's just the crew chief doesn't get along with the other 2. The other 2 are buddies, and so I think we're going to have 3 teams under that roof. They've all got to get along. I think it starts with the drivers. If the drivers and having Noah and Todd with the prior relationship is hugely important. If they're on the same page, it'll be a lot harder to keep secrets from each other. So we'll work really hard on the communication piece. I think the parts and pieces, we're way ahead of it. We're going to be in a good place. We've kind of figured out shop space, and so I think we've got the groundwork laid to make it all work.
And what's the team's reception been to Noah joining the fold?
Well, we told the team this morning, and there's a lot of enthusiasm about it for sure. I think Noah, he's a likable guy for sure, and brings a big personality to the team and an energy, and I think people are just excited to know that filling the void of Michael McDowell leaving is hard, without a doubt. And so Noah coming in, somebody that people are excited about, kind of a very different personality than where Michael is in his life, is definitely just brought a real spirit to the shop, and I think people are just excited to get to know Noah and get to work.
Okay, I have to ask, so you told the shop this morning, was Noah there at the shop?
No, he's still doing his full-time job right now. He had a sim session this morning, so he couldn't make it. So we'll have to bring him over later. Okay,
you excited to get in the shop, Noah?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, I want to turn it back over to Bob. As we talk about the different personalities that are now a part of Front Row Motorsports, what's a commonality between the drivers that we've seen over the years at your organization?
Well, I just think they just have been really close. I mean, Michael's been a great mentor to Todd. They race well together. They work well together. And I think that's probably the thing I'm most proud of is just the culture. It's a close-knit group. And I think the thing that Noah brings is just a level of excitement. I mean, he's just got contagious energy. Anybody that spent 5 minutes around him can see that. And I remember being at Talladega one time and seeing a guy going down the boulevard on a scooter. I'm like, who is that guy? That's Noah Gragson. And so he's just one of those, for whatever reason, people just relate to him. and he relates well with them.
As you look at goals for not only next season, but let's look at the next 5 years, the expansion, we've already seen you guys are capable of winning races. You're capable of making a playoff. Where do you see this team next year and then the next 5 years?
Well, without knowing exactly who's going to be driving our third car, it's hard for me to say everything. But I think this is what you can expect. I think you're going to have 3 young but experienced drivers that they're youthful, but they've gotten that first couple of years out of the way. And I think people look at Front Row Motorsports and say, this is a team that could be together for a long time. And so the thing I'm most excited about with Noah is that, he's not even really hit his ceiling. Like, he's still growing in the sport, getting better every week, and I'm just excited to see where it goes.
Any final words from the 3 of you? Good? All right. With that, again, we want to thank you for tuning in to today's announcement, whether you were online or joining us in person. We cannot wait to see what Front Row Motorsports does in 2025 and beyond, and we'll look for future announcements as the lineup continues to unfold. Team is going to look at. All right, for media in attendance, we'll now move Noah, Bob, and Jerry around the room for interviews.